After the long 1 year await, One Punch Man Volume 24 is here. Honestly, the wait for these manga just get longer and longer every time. This is like the longest we've had to wait now. Over a year at least. But 24 is here. So yeah, this is the cover. We've got Sweet Mask with Genos. He's got some monster blood on his hand. So this is the cover. Here's the extended cover with the bottom part. This is the back. And yeah, Saitama is like bathing in some lava or magma. That'll make more sense when we actually go into the volume later on. But yeah, oh, and he's got a little rubber duck. And here's the full back cover with the extended bottom. That's the side. And of course we've got the full matched together covers to make the full picture. This is just, obviously the top 3 covers. And here it is with the extended bottoms all together. Now we do the same with the bottom covers of the back. And just for the fun of it, I'll show you how it looks by the side. Saitama and Genos are going fishing with Speeder Sansonic getting dragged down underwater by a sea monster or an octopus or something. And here is it with the extended bottom covers. Yeah, because obviously, as you know, all these parts of the volume are the extended bottom covers. So the reason this video took so long to come out is because I had to basically reread some of these previous volumes just to remind myself of what's happened, because obviously the wait has been so long, it's kind of forgotten, and I've just mainly been reading the volumes online with the digital prints. And considering how the Monster Association arc is the longest arc in the entire series, as well as that as the arc itself being at least half the series, with all the redraws and rewrites that's been going on and all the hundreds of chapters, that's felt like it's been kind of hard to remember where the physical volumes are at, because these are so far behind right now. So first off, we're going to show you messages by One and Yusuke, as usual. The stories not included, contents. This again will make much more sense in the actual volume. And the characters list, double page because there's quite a lot of characters, along with the chapters list. And yeah, this is a hot spring. Like, I'm assuming because it's like on a mountain right above all the magma and lava. And before we actually get into the full-on volume, I'm going to show you the back. Stop you reading the wrong way. What you make, and 1 or 2 adverts, like literally hardly any. This shows the full extended back in the actual volume itself. Yeah, because obviously, as we know, Viz Media, they don't do the extended bottoms for some reason. Anyway, now we're actually going to be getting into the actual volume itself. So to start off with, we've got this very anime style drawing of Tatsumaki. And it's just, some of the usual heroes all chasing this monster. Master Joe, who's like a key guy. He opens this vault, and evil natural water comes out and starts killing people, and he's just too much for all the heroes to handle. Yeah, and the Viz translation is evil mineral water. As we go on, this guy sacrifices his life and gets killed for these heroes. Meanwhile, Saitama is hanging around in the Monster Association base because he's still underground looking for whoever's making the noise. And he comes into contact with Rover, but Rover is just not having it, and Saitama just clomps him, causing a massive shockwave for everyone to hear and feel, because it's all rumbling. And Genos, who we haven't seen in a long time, is aware of this. Then I think the Nyan, the cat monster, comes up and attacks Saitama, but it doesn't do anything. And he just freaks out and just escapes, running away. When I first read this, it kind of reminded me of when Ground Dragon tried to escape Saitama in the very first volume of the House of Evolution arc. It's kind of a shame Saitama didn't go underground, did the whole found you thing again, but oh well. Yeah, and Tatsumaki comes into contact with Gyro, and we kind of just get a little mini battle with them. This begins the longest fight in the entire series. It's not a very fun fight, I will be honest. But yeah, then here we have it. Saitama finally meets Orochi. So, originally, this fight was one of my favourite fights in the entire manga. It was so cool and amazing. The beginning part is pretty much the same, and Rover gets up and it turns out this is another monster who's survived a punch from Saitama, a very rare occasion, but it's mainly because Saitama was holding back quite a bit and Rover's quite a heavy defense monster, so he could withstand it a little bit more than other monsters. And obviously he held back a lot more because he just saw it as like a dog other than an actual monster. But then I like this part where Orochi puts it all together about what happened to Elder Centipede and Goketsu, and the fact that Saitama is the reason why City Z has a ghost town within it. Yeah, it's not the entire city, it's just part of the city. And then it reawakens some emotions within Orochi that he's lost feeling. Sort of like Saitama, that he wants a challenge and he's not getting it. But this is kind of where the fight falls short for me. Yeah, so originally the fight was honestly one of my favourite fights in the entire series. Orochi unlocked this cool form and Saitama beat him with a normal punch. And it was like that, like classic One Punch Man style. But it goes like this. Orochi takes off his mask or face, whatever. They go down to the depths or something, into magma or lava. And Orochi turns out his true form is like a Dark Souls looking boss. And in reality he's been pretending to be mind controlled by Gyro Gyro. And then talks about like some prophecy. That's in the art style of the very beginning, the fictional character's message. And for some reason Saitama just starts bathing, like right in front of Orochi. Originally this did look like hot water, but obviously the back confirms it's not, which makes it a little confusing at the front that there's a hot spring. Like, I don't know, maybe the lava is connected or it's heating up the water somehow, I don't know. I'm not a hot spring expert. And he starts like getting heat from the centre of the earth and just starts shaking things around, and Orochi's like starts trying to kill Saitama, and all these volcanoes go off. All this Giga Cannon. Yeah, I don't like this, to be honest. Serious water gun. I don't know why he's calling it water gun. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same as the original fight between Saitama and Orochi. It was perfect the way it was before. This just felt a bit, I don't know, weird. So he does like a serious water gun, and then punches him with a normal punch, which isn't that clear because a lot of people might confuse it for a serious punch. And then that's Orochi defeated. I mean, at least he got defeated in a normal punch still, but I don't know. I still like the original a lot more. And then Orochi's still alive, crawling to his prophecy thing he's been bragging on about. And it turns out there's more foreshadowing for God, the big main villain of One Punch Man, which really wasn't needed. I do feel this was very forced, because in the previous volume with Homeless Emperor we already got an introduction to God, and later on in the arc we're going to get a lot more of him just showing up, and there's lots of moments where it really doesn't feel necessary, just like this. We've shot the moon from Krakow Underground, and then this is another region I wasn't really a fan of. DOS, or Super S, however you want to say it, revives herself after Sweet Mask or My Mask kills her, which really wasn't necessary. Also, she should have just stayed dead. She didn't need to come back. And she gets all like her weird slave things, and yeah, and then Gogo's been defeated, and turns out, so she thinks it was King who defeated Orochi, when originally it was, she saw Saitama, and then Tatsumaki assumed it was Super Alloy Darkshine. I like that a lot more, I don't know. But yeah, so there's all that. And then King defeats a slime monster who can pretend to be people, just by scaring it. And then Fubuki and DOS have another go at a fight, but Bang just ties her up. And then it's got this really weird, like, entire chapter of Fubuki being like a dominatrix to this monster, like, dominating her, and that's how you defeat her, because that's how Sweet Mask defeated her originally, by dominating her, which is really weird. I don't know, it just felt a little weird. So yeah, after all that, we kind of just get like an emergency, like, people with their trains is all like somehow too close to the Monster Association base, so innocents are in danger, and she kind of just escapes from Fubuki. And this part's pretty interesting. We get to see a little bit of Garo. We've not seen him in ages either, but that's just a bit of foreshadowing of what's yet to come. A really great moment with Garo and Super Alloy Darkshine is yet to come. And then it just ends off like this. We see how well the monster cells are coming from, and because they're made from Orochi and put into this big machine, and just finishes off with Sweet Mask basically getting beaten up by Fiora Ugly, which is pretty good because it's like very close to the webcomic, and I like this, and it shows what Ugumon is and where they come from. That's the cliffhanger. With a mini make, which is just Super Alloy Darkshine. His fans are like all muscular and buff people for some reason. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So this volume has been very mixed for me personally. I don't know. I would have enjoyed this a lot more if it wasn't all the redraws that kept coming through, but I don't know. There are some good moments in this, but just not personally for me, I think. But yeah, that has been One Punch Man Volume 24. And I'm very excited for next month / next year, because we've got Mob Psycho 100 Volume 10 coming out, and I'm really enjoying that series so much. As of recording this, I just recently finished watching the final episode of Season 3 of Mob Psycho 100, and wow, the series has just finished in an amazing way with new surprises for people watching the anime. I think this video might be uploaded like the day after or the day after that, I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.